I had been invited down to Soledad to speak at their AA banquet for the year. You're assigned an inmate host, one of the guys that's on AA. And the guy that was assigned to me, and for the sake of anonymity, I'll just call him Charlie. Nice guy. Nice guy. Under 30. He looked no more like a criminal than any. As a matter of fact, most of you out there look more like a criminal than he did. And all day long, he showed me around. You know, we had to go from one meeting hall to another one. And he'd done his job well, and we chatted and got friendly and just... It was nice. That evening, after I spoke and the dinner was all over and all, it was time to leave. He said, Duffy, says, I'm going to ask you something. He says, how come you didn't ask me what I'm in here for? He says, most people usually do. I said, well, I want to tell you something, Charlie. I don't really care why you're in here. And I know you're going to tell me you're in here on a bum beef, that you got railroaded and all that bullshit. And I can't get you no job on the outside, so that's why I don't want to get involved in it. He said, oh, no. I understand. He says, but I really would like to tell you why I'm in here, to see what you think. And I said, well, why would you want to do that? He said, well, when you was talking tonight, you was talking about that blackout you had at the racetrack, that blackout you had down there at Macon, Georgia. I knew that you would understand. I says, go ahead. And I'm sort of waiting to hear this old crap. I'm innocent and all that. And boy, then he hit me right between the eyes, right off the bat. He says, as far as I know, I've never been in Salinas, California in my life. And I'll swear to you on my mother's grave that as far as I know, the only time I have ever seen the victim is when they showed them pictures at the trial. All of a sudden, I seemed to wake up, and I was being held in custody in the Monterey County Jail for first-degree murder. The victim's blood was all over my clothing. My fingerprints were all over the motel room where the crime was committed. And there are 3 eyewitnesses who will confirm that I and that lady went into that motel together. I won't argue that. But what I want you to know, Duff, is the last thing I can remember prior to coming to in that jail was that I was in a bar in National City, California. Well, how long would it take you to get from San Diego to Salinas, California? 6, 7 hours, I guess. If you're out looking for a little companionship, how long does it take you to find one of those sleazy little dives that exist in every town? How long does it take to strike up a conversation with some strange chick in a bar room that's looking for the same thing you're looking for? How long does it take to get to a motel? How long does it take for alcoholic rage to erupt? How long does it take to get mad at each other? How long does it take in a moment of rage to swing out and strike somebody? Just like that. It's never going to do Charles any good. But I believe his story 100%. That he murdered somebody and doesn't even know he did it. And he's just as average and normal as any of us in this room. Now, I use the name Charles, but I could very well use the name of anybody in this room who would raise their hand this morning. Because you're admitting to the same thing that Charles told me he did. As long as I don't drink, I don't have to worry about things like blackouts today. I don't have to sit here with a fear that something might happen that'll take away from me any desire to ever want to be sober again. No. Maybe if that's the only benefit I get from not drinking and not using drugs, that's good enough. Maybe I'll never get rich by staying sober. Maybe I'll never get to own this or that if I'm sober. Maybe I'll never get my wife back if I'm sober, or my kids back. But maybe I'll never have to go through what Charles did.